Morning, everyone, and today we are going to talk about the overview and solutions of potential company security risks. And I'm going to talk about senior executive involvement in breach response. Kevin Marquez is going to talk about mobile device security. Doug Holland is going to talk about innovative electronic payments. Last but not the least, David Heppy is going to present about the economics of cyber attacks. The senior executive involvement in breach response has a lot of threats involved, um, technically being poor communication, lack of leadership, and stuff like that. The current trends say that 79% executives feel that their involvement is necessary in the incident response process, and 67% of people said that the board needs to be informed and educated about the issues that are going on in the current cybersecurity market. The actions that the whole company and the reviews brought up to our attention were that the executive level oversight should be a little more strict, and we need to identify the significance of the data breach.
Thank you, Banu. This is Kevin Marquez presenting about mobile device security. More and more users are using cell phones now. 73% of mobile users are addicted to their phones. And 50% can never replace the data on their phone, including emails, texts, contacts, and documents. And 45% of those mobile phone users are not concerned about the security of their device. And this is a concern because there's potential losses of information with companies using the bring your own device policy, hacking of mobile device software, or even workers losing their phone. And there are different ways to protect phones through making sure that there's passwords for everything, converting data through encryption strategies, and adding firewalls and antivirus software to these phones. So the recommendations for our company to help with this is to provide work cell phones for our employees so they could separate their personal devices from work devices and to protect our data, making sure that there's passwords on all of our devices, making sure there's antivirus software, and also having fingerprints to make sure only our employees could use these devices.
Thank you, Kevin. My name is Doug Halem, and I'm going to talk about innovative electronic payments. And so electronic payment systems are becoming very prominent nowadays. It's replacing paper currency as the high-tech level of paying online, very convenient for people to do. And the purpose of the research that was done is to examine the perceptions of security and privacy risks while people are using these electronic payment systems. And it's important for businesses like ours to be made aware of these risks before implementing the new systems to their company. And so some threats that we've identified is that with more electronic payments comes more computer crime. As more people begin to use these payments, more people begin to do criminal activity as well. And so two big concerns right now are hijacking payment information and credit card fraud. And banks and credit card companies right now are at the forefront of creating innovative methods for securing people's assets at this point. So some safeguards that we identified that are considered most critical at this point are one-time passwords and tokens, federated identity and authentication systems, and multi-factor authentication. Just extra steps to protect people's privacy, and so the systems can know for sure that the person accessing it is the person that belongs to that data or that money. So some recommendations for management is don't let the risk completely halt the integration of innovation for these electronic payment processes. They're still very good for the company to implement, so don't let the risks completely drag you down, and don't let them not go forward with these things. So just continue to make innovation steps and make easier for your consumers to purchase the products. Things like Google Wallet and Apple Pay are examples of this. Be aware of the changing risk factors. Even though these innovations have a lot of benefits, there will be a lot of changing risks that come with it as well. So it's important to be aware of the factors that may change throughout their process. And then allocating more resources to security and privacy protection will pay off in the long run. This can save the whole company money and preserve electronic customer base and keep people loyal to the company and their information protected and secure.
Thank you, Doug. My name is David Heppy, and I will be presenting on the economics of cyber attacks. Before I go into it, I think it'd be important to check out some key terms here. The first of which was a toolkit that came up in my research. A toolkit is essentially a set of software tools typically used to crack Wi-Fi passwords, create fake networks, and find vulnerabilities within a organization's network. Another one would be inflection point. Essentially, this is the moment when attackers decide it is no longer profitable to attack an organization. And the last would be IT infrastructure. What this is the composite hardware, software, and network resources and services required for the existence, operation, and management of an enterprise IT environment. And moving on to some threats and safeguards that come in with the economics of cyber attack. Major threats that go in for cyber attacks that primarily go in for economic purposes. Attackers are now developing more automatic hacking tools that allow for shorter wait times. And the shorter the wait time there is for attacks, the more likely there is for a profitable gain for the attacker. The cost of conducting a successful attack has dropped increasingly, especially through the use of hacker toolkits. As this technology is improving, the cost is actually becoming lower for them, so it's more actually economical for them to do these attacks. But the bright side is there is some safeguards. The time to deter major attacks is only about 2 days, and so this is just like a general timeline that they believe is the best to set up against a major attack. And also, threat intelligence sharing allows for people to share preventative measures against cyber attacks. So the ability to share that amongst clients and within your own organization is becoming much easier. Trends in computer crime. In computer crimes, hackers receive an average of 28,744 for every 705 hours spent on attacking. That's about within a year. So obviously you can see this is a very profitable thing if you are an experienced hacker. That is going off data that is from attackers that would know what they are doing. 54% of hackers are actually motivated by money. So going with the theme of this presentation, you can see that the majority of hackers are motivated by economical reasons. As stated before, hacking technology is increasing. Attackers are becoming more proficient, so essentially they are becoming more efficient and having a better payoff per attack that they're having. And the time to prevent major attacks is decreasing. As I spoke before, 2 days on average is what this is looking like. It's essentially the amount of time that a firm or organization would have to set up a decent defense against a major cyber attack. Lastly, we wanted to leave you guys with some computer security tips. What this would look like for senior management to protect themselves against major hacking attacks against their organizations would be to focus on 3 components: people, processes, and technology. This is something we've been studying as a group quite frequently, and we just see that through the hiring process, going through personnel, going through the process of which you would handle attacks, and also improving your technology would very much increase your likability, increase your potential to ward off an attack, and also implementing training and awareness programs, as stated before with that. And as a whole with management, it's very important to build strong security operations teams. These teams can crack down, be able to assess risk, go in and try to prevent hacking as much as possible. And so also it's incredibly important, as we stated before, with increased hacking technology, to keep your company in the 21st century and to invest as much as possible in next generation technology that can be preventative attacks, that can measure attacks, that can also reduce the risk of attacks as much as possible. That's the end of our presentation for this moment. We'd just like to thank you so much for taking the time to hear us out. You guys have been an amazing audience, and we hope this information will be beneficial to your corporation. Thank you very much.